Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Brief Nerdity podcast. I am your host. My name is Ryan. Joining once again is my all awesome co-host, Trent.
Hello, everybody.
What's up, funny? I try to make it new and original every time. There's always so many ways you could say, welcome to the Brief Nerdity podcast. I'm Ryan. This is Trent.
You're like, my name is Ryan. Like, do I need to follow suit? Is this a new thing we're doing?
That was me trying to improvise and failing at it.
I'm sorry. I shouldn't call you out on the podcast.
It makes for a good laugh, I'm sure. So, why don't you introduce our next guest, Trent?
Well, coming back is one of our super special guest co-hosts.
His triumphant return.
My friend Ted.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
We're not going to do the unspeakable.
Thank you.
Thing.
We did that last time. We don't have to do it again.
Yeah, it's been played out. Now it's all Ryan.
The How I Met Your Mother joke, is that?
Yes, that's the one.
I'm sorry.
The joke that should not be named.
How you doing, Ted?
I'm fantastic. I'm glad to be invited back. Thank you both.
Well,
you're very welcome.
We are happy to have you.
All right, well, let's get things kicked off into our round robin. Not nearly as long or intuitive as last week's, but still a good one, I think. We are going to talk about the worst movie that we saw in theaters. We've all seen plenty of bad movies in our life, but for me anyways, it's typically rare that I see a bad one in theaters because usually I look up, reception for it and use that as an indicator whether or not I'm going to see it in theaters or not. So, yeah. Who wants to start? I could go first.
Go for it. Okay.
So this is going to be a controversial opinion because this movie was critically loved by many. It was a movie that was not even on my radar at all. And it only became on my radar because basically the internet blew up with how good this movie was and that everyone needed to see it. So I was like, okay, it is now on my radar. I'm going to go see it. I went with two of my friends to see it, and we all hated it so much. Like, we were just like laughing at the movie the entire time, but mostly being angry. And like, if I probably wasn't like with two friends and we were just like laughing at how dumb and bad the movie was, I probably would have legitimately got up and left. That movie would be The Witch. Came out, I think, either late 2015, early 2016.
The Witch.
The Witch?
Yep.
I haven't heard of this movie.
Have neither of you ever even heard of it?
I don't think so.
The poster
looks
like two V's. Yeah, it looks like two V's. The Witch.
That's okay. Now I remember it.
Yep.
I remember seeing the poster and the trailers that every time like they had on like Hulu ads and stuff, I'd be like, The Witch every time.
Yep, that's kind of what I thought in my mind too. But it has a freaking 91% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Wow.
But like I wanted to die. I thought it was terrible.
Why? Why the miscommunication?
I don't know. Like, maybe I just don't really agree with critics in this situation. I mean, I'm not much of a horror movie person. I think they're all pretty bad for the most part. It takes a really special and unique horror movie to really get me to enjoy it. Case in point, Cabin in the Woods or something like that. But this was just about Satan possessing people, and it was just not very compelling or interesting.
Fair enough.
So, like, I was...
Do you consider Cabin in the Woods scary?
I'd say it's my favorite horror movie, but I wouldn't consider it super scary.
I don't even know if I consider it a horror movie.
Yeah, it's definitely up to interpretation, I would say.
I'm the type of person that if it even like mentions the word horror anywhere in the movie or about the movie, I'm not going to see it.
Cabin in the Woods is amazing.
You really should see Cabin in the Woods.
Great, with all the lights on in the middle of a summer day. And then I'll sleep awake for a week.
Trent's like the biggest wuss ever, and if he says it's not scary, then
easy. I do not do well with scary TV shows, scary movies, scary video games, anything like that. And I thought Cabin in the Woods was just really entertaining.
Maybe I'll add it to the list then.
So
it's a movie that really turns the horror genre up on its head, I will say. Like, I don't want to say it like it's making fun of it, but it turns it up on its head.
And it's Joss Whedon.
Yeah, Joss Whedon did it.
Fair enough. That's a point for it.
And Thor's in it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, anything with Chris Hemsworth worth it.
Right?
So, Yeah, it's really good, but don't ask anybody about it because if you know the premise of the movie, it's pretty much spoiled at that point. So
Right. It's so much better if you know nothing about it when you go in.
Fair enough.
so
I guess I'll go ahead and go next.
Okay.
So this was a movie that I thought was going to be really interesting. The previews looked really cool. It, I believe, is a Steven Spielberg movie. Yeah, directed by Steven Spielberg. Huge ton of hype, and I thought it was one of the most boring movies I've ever seen. And that
Ooh,
would
I know
be
it's coming.
AI, artificial intelligence.
Yeah, AI, so terrible.
So bad. I mean, there were some parts, like tiny little parts, that were cool and imaginative, but
See, I didn't see it in theaters, so I definitely would have counted it if I had. But one of the reasons why it's
to Manhattan. What? Why?
I completely missed this movie on my radar. Am I showing my age?
Maybe.
It came out in 2001. So
Okay, so
you
probably
weren't
a little
alive.
bit. I was 9.
Oh my god.
we weren't that much older. Come on.
I was in high school. I
Yeah,
could
but-
drive.
But again, a 15-year-old and a 9-year-old isn't that much different.
16.
Well, sorry, I was 15, but
I guess that year I was almost 16. Anyway, I just like to make fun of Ted for how young he is.
It's a common thread.
there's a bit of interesting history behind that movie. Originally directed by Stanley Kubrick. I did not say that right, but you guys know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Either that or it was written by and it was going to be directed by, but either way, he ended up passing away. And so Steven Spielberg picked up the reins to continue it and wanted
Dropped
to.
the ball.
I wouldn't say he dropped the ball. I mean, I guess maybe yes, but he wanted to keep it. He wanted to keep it extremely loyal to Stanley. I can't say it. Yeah, that. Keep it very close to his vision, pretty much.
That guy, the
Yeah.
one over there. Anyway,
You know, it kind of reminds me of like the new the Justice League thing, where Joss Whedon is stepping in to direct right now, but he's probably not going to get director credit for it. But even though Spielberg did, but he did say he wanted to keep it very, very close to what Zack Snyder had before Joss Whedon stepped in to do reshoots and editing for the film.
Huh. So it kind of got lost in translation, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
okay, sorry, this is off topic, but kind of related. Haley Joel Osment's IMDb picture is hilarious.
Oh yeah.
Do they choose these?
I don't think so. No, I mean it's like a wiki page. So
Like, can you choose them? Like, could you call them and be like, "Hey, this is Haley Joel Osment. Can you please change?" He's got like a giant neck beard,
Dude, that beard is like Mountain Man-esque.
right? It's like, did he just really hate the whole babyface stereotype or something? Because
he was in this past season of
dang,
Silicon Valley.
Was he?
Yeah, and that's what he looked like. He played like an eccentric, not really eccentric, but like
Oh, okay.
a guy who became a nerd programmer became an instant billionaire like overnight.
Okay, so
Yeah,
yeah,
sure enough, he looks just like that in the very recent pictures.
I mean, it took me a couple episodes to realize it was him. I'm like, wait a minute, that's Haley Joel Osment. Like 3 episodes in,
he looks weird. Anyway, totally off topic.
yeah, no worries.
I feel bad for Haley. Anyway,
But that first picture you see on the left there with him sitting on the couch, that's him from Silicon Valley.
yeah, I gotcha.
So that's probably it.
All right, my worst movie in theaters was Transformers 2.
Transformers 2.
Because Transformers 1, like, I don't know, I feel like it really captured the essence of Transformers. And then I was expecting that again in Transformers 2, and it just didn't.
You didn't
Just-
like the robot balls?
I'm under the testicles.
No, I didn't like the
The little, like, totally not racially stereotyping, like, little hip-hop Transformer dudes?
Yeah. That whole movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. I'm good with that. We don't need a lot of analysis into Transformers 2. We all.
But
Feel
is it
about
the
it.
worst Transformers movie? I don't know because I
didn't see the others in theaters.
It's the worst. It's the worst of the three that I've seen.
Yeah, that's true. Me too. I haven't seen 4 or 5, so
I haven't either. I stopped with 3.
Oh god,
I've
I
heard-
stopped paying attention after 2.
But yeah, so all right, let's get this party started after the round robin because we already got it started with the round robin with what we're playing.
Let's keep it started.
All right, Trent, go for it.
So I've mostly just been playing a lot of Ark. My friends put me in charge as the admin of a server, so I've been keeping that up and running. And we switched maps this last week from Scorched Earth to Ragnarok, which is the newest, slightly unfinished, but really cool, gigantic, has different types of biomes DLC map. So that's been exciting. I've been basically
Nice.
just playing that.
Did you play any Fortnite?
Here and there, not really a lot since last week.
Yeah, me neither. So
I think I logged in and smashed some llamas, and then
Wow, I missed that. What?
llama smashing to the max.
in Fortnite, like you've heard the term loot pinata, right?
Yeah.
So in Fortnite, when you get a loot box, it's literally a pinata in the shape of a
Nice.
llama that talks.
Okay.
And so
Oh.
you swing various weapons at the loot pinatas, and they talk to you, and it's really hilarious. Like, it's one of my favorite parts of the game because every now and then, like, you'll like you'll pull out a sword or something, and the llama will just be kind of sitting there turning, and he comes around, he's like, "Hey, buddy, what's the sword for?" Things like that. And every now and then, when you hit them, they have a chance of turning silver, and then a chance of turning gold,
Ooh.
which means that they like double or quadruple their loot chance or whatever. And one of them that turned gold on me the other day was like, "I'm pretty." So it's one of the little niches of humor in that game that's really well done. So
Nice.
yeah,
Also nice. I played a bit of Destiny. I finished Vanilla Destiny. I'm on to the first expansion now as far as the story content goes.
is that Chocolate Destiny?
Oh,
Another one after Vanilla.
Trent, come on.
What? I have hated.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Not hate to like. I mean, I still use it. I just think it's interesting.
No, but the Taken King is the first expansion there. That's when it came out is pretty much when people started saying that Destiny became good, so to speak. I've been enjoying it so far. I've only maybe like 4 or 5 missions into the Taken King, but the new villain is awesome. The new enemy types are also awesome. There was one cool thing that happened. Think of it kind of like an MMO that you go into an instance and then you go basically through a linear-ish sort of shooting gallery and then fight a boss at the end. That happened, and normally in the game when you fight a boss, like a little 30-second timer starts popping down, just because, and then usually allow some dialogue, kind of wrapping things up. You could walk around, pick up any loot that may have been dropped and stuff like that. But then at the end of 30 seconds, it takes you out of the instance and brings you back up into your ship in orbit, where you could select another instance or go back to your town or whatever. But this time it was a twist, and I guess it's going to be kind of not really story spoiler, but cool thing happening spoiler in Destiny 1. But that happened. We defeated a boss, like just kind of a lieutenant for the big bad boss for the first expansion. And then that timer started ticking down, and I kind of stopped paying attention, and there's a little bit of dialogue happening, and then like it went 3, 2, 1, then like the big boss like appeared in a smoky like demon form, and then like spawned like literally hundreds of enemies.
Oh god, did you have to change your pants?
Yeah, I was like, ah! And then like, and then your little guardian thing was like, run! You can't take them all, run! And so there was another like last sequence where you literally had to run back through the entire level with enemies just spawning everywhere, and you had to grab metaphorical keys to unlock doors like on your way out, as just this flood of enemies was coming on you. So it was intense and awesome, and I enjoyed it. So
that sounds really cool.
Nice.
Yeah. So it really turned a loop there. I also played Portal 2. My girlfriend completed the campaign. She loved it, and so we played through the Portal 2 co-op pretty much in like 2 or 3 sittings. So really enjoyed that. Hadn't played that since it first came out, so it was pretty much fresh and new to me again too. And then finally I played through the Batman Arkham VR experience, which was also very, very cool. It's very, very short, just about 30 minutes long, but and doesn't really involve any combat, but it involves like Batman detective stuff.
Yeah, I was wondering how they're going to deal with the possible combat with VR, because that's like motion sickness waiting to happen.
The only stuff that you really do combat-wise is with batarangs and stuff. But,
Got it.
It's more about just kind of the mystery that you're trying to solve, the little small mystery, and then there's some really cool visual tricks that they use, so to speak.
Might have to get it.
Yeah. Do you have a VR?
Yeah, I have an Oculus. I have an Oculus Rift, but I don't have a touch. Do you require touch for it?
I don't know. I think so. I have a Vive, so.
Fair.
I could look, though, in a little bit. But, yeah, just a short, fun little experience, and I got it on sale, so it was definitely worth it as a Batman fan and a fan of the Arkham games. So,
Batman fan.
Nice.
Fan. So, yeah, what about you, Ted?
I've been playing League of Legends, actually, recently. I got back into it. I'm sure most of your listeners know, a couple months back, League of Legends released 2 champions at once, Rakan and Xayah, and they're meant to be played together. They're like a support and DPS carry that play off of each other. And so recently my wife and I purchased both champions, and so now we've been playing them together. But the problem is that we are both not mechanically adept. So we end up like, when we're trying to use one ability, we accidentally use the other ability, or our mouse is totally in the wrong spot, or things like that. And so we've been actually practicing League of Legends, which is a new development for us. So it's been fun. Yeah,
that's pretty cool. We're doing like versus AI.
Yeah, doing versus AI and stuff like where it's like just 2v2 AI, and then we like practice the combo and things like that. So
nice.
Yeah,
my friend Alex and I, he's usually DPS bottom lane, and I'm usually playing support. So he got Xayah and I got Rakan, and it was really, really, really fun. Just
nice.
their humor is also really funny.
It is really fun. The voice lines are some of the best bits.
Have you guys tested out all the taunts and everything where they talk to each other?
No, we did figure out the dance that they do together, but I did not realize that you can taunt together as well. That's fun.
Nice. The other thing that is also interesting, if you play them by themselves without the other person there, they have some other dialogue lines about how.
My wife got Xayah first, and so when I was playing the support, which was just a random like Nunu or Braum or whatever, like she was commenting on the voice lines there too.
Nice. My favorite one is from Rakan, and he's like, "All right, so there's a plan. Xayah told me the plan. Now, if only I could just remember the plan." It's good stuff. I've really enjoyed some of their newer champions here lately.
Yeah, aren't they? I saw a announcement today that they're releasing another champion. Is that true? It was in a weird style. Like the release was a weird looking thing, so I didn't know if it's real. But
yeah, I had a link somewhere.
It's like Ornn.
He's a demigod of like fire.
Yeah, he is the heart of the mountain or something.
The fire below the mountain.
Yeah, there you go.
He's a smith, like a master blacksmith guy, and apparently he can make his own items out in the field. He doesn't have to return to base.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
I was like, what? And then his teammates also have access to special upgrades for certain items because he's on the field. So I'm wondering if that's going to be way overpowered. But
I mean, unless they make him a support and that's like all he can do.
Well, I mean, he is tanky, so like support was probably where he's going to end up anyway.
The video clips that they were showing was he was mostly top laner, so he was bruisey aspects. So I don't know. It'll be interesting.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
So I did look it up, and you can play it with a controller and just an Oculus headset.
Excellent.
So should be good to go there.
Thank you.
No problem. All right, let's get on to what we've been watching. I'll skip ahead just a little bit, but how about that Game of Thrones episode last night?
Oh,
apparently it was awesome.
My
Do you not watch Game of Thrones, Ted?
goodness.
So story actually. I was gifted in college, which was many years ago. Yes. So a few years ago, I was gifted the first 4 books of Game of Thrones, and I read through the first 3 like in a weekend, right? Like blazed through those books because it's really, really good, right? The way that Martin sets up the chapters is that he actually follows a character for a few pages and then ends the chapter and then moves on to a new character, right? So we follow Jamie or we follow Cersei or follow, Arya or whoever, right? So I get to the fourth book and I'm reading through the fourth book and I'm like, man, there are no good characters. Like I'm halfway through and I'm like, where the hell is Jon Snow? Where the hell is Arya? Where the hell are all the people that I care about, right? And like, none, gone, nothing.
I've heard
I get to the last page of the whole book, right? It's like after like the book ends and you're like, there's no more content. And like the very last sheaf of paper, right? And it's an author's note. And it says, oh yeah, you wanted all those characters that were really good? They're in book 5. Yeah, this book was too long, so I split it into 2.
Yep.
Yeah, that's not okay. That is not okay. So I didn't buy book 5, and I haven't started watching any of the shows because that's not okay.
Nah.
So
That's bad.
anyway, I hear that it is excellent, and it does pique my interest. So I may have to join. I may have to get HBO Go and watch it with my wife.
Yeah, I think you should watch the show. Forget about the books because he doesn't finish them anyway. And the movie, the show has veered enough at this point from the books that I think it'll be a fun and exciting experience for you.
Fair enough.
Well, books 1 and 2 and seasons 1 and 2 are pretty much identical. I mean, yeah, there'll be book elitists who say, there are things mixed out, but if you want like probably the most true
It's been long
to
enough
screen.
now.
Yeah. But then it's funny, they take books 4 and 5, with the split characters, which are arguably the 2 worst books, and they condense both of them into one season.
Oh, hey, okay.
So it makes it much
Makes life a
better.
little better.
Yeah, tons of stuff. Apparently, I've never read the books, and I obviously there are exceptions to this, but I'm trying from this point on not to allow myself to be put in this situation anymore, where I'm waiting for an author to write a book that he shows no signs of actually writing.
Like Kingslayer Chronicles?
Yeah. That trilogy.
Dude, but the first 2 books are so
It
good.
does not exist. No. No, it's been, he wrote the first book, and then the second book, 13 months later? Or something like that, and it's been 3-4 years since the second one, and he's
milking it for all it's worth.
He's signing a TV deal or a movie deal or something, and he's writing an art book and a chronicle history, and I'm like, no, finish the series.
He technically did write a 3rd book. It was not the 3rd book of the series, but it was a addition.
Just follow J.K. Rowling's example, finish the series, and then go on to all your other random side projects.
Or be like Sanderson, just churn out more stuff.
That's fine too. If you're working on a different project and you just want to break from the other one, but I can have proof that you're actually still writing, that's fine. Sanderson does that. I trust him that he's going to keep writing the Way of Kings.
Yep.
But the first one who did this to me was Robert Jordan, and I was not okay with it.
Yeah, dying makes it a little rough to write.
And yeah, I don't know if I'm going to have any interest in book 6 or 7 of A Song of Ice and Fire when they come out either, because the show is doing such a good job of bringing this series right now with only how many episodes we have now? 9 episodes left of the show. Period. I'm just not I don't know. I'm pretty sure the story's gonna wrap up, and then book 6 gonna come out, and I'll be like, I'm kind of done with the
how
story.
much more in depth can you get?
Yeah. I mean, again, there's a lot of characters and things that are happening in the books that the show hasn't even touched on, and so part of me is curious to see where those threads go, and if the destination is the same. But I'm one to wait till book 7 comes out, and then maybe just read chapter summaries on the wiki or something. I don't know, because they're also super long.
They are really long.
It's such a long book, but anywho, but yeah. So Game of Thrones is amazing. So you might have to duck out for our spoiler cast at the end.
Oh, I don't mind. Actually, at work, we have 2 people in my conference room that I work in, and one guy can't contain himself, and he has to tell someone, and the other guy's always a week behind, so he leaves the room, and the guy tells me, so it's fine.
All right.
Yeah.
You're the boss.
What a dick.
Yeah.
Sorry, like
Yeah.
write a blog,
Right.
like do something else, like people who
Especially
just
stuff from the past few episodes. I mean, it's
right,
been.
like if you can't wait a couple weeks to talk about it with someone or like call someone who you know is also caught up, like I don't. People who intentionally spoil stuff bother me
Yeah.
on just a visceral level.
I forgot to mention last week, but we're now on the 3rd episode of Rick and Morty this season, and this season has not disappointed. You know, Rick and Morty is still in its prime and still freaking a million laughs an episode, and I love it so much. So, not a single dull episode in the season in the first 3 episodes so far. And there's only 10 episodes this season, so it makes me sad, but it's gonna be so good. It's gonna be so good. And I'm only 1 episode away from the finale of Iron Fist. I'm actually enjoying it still. So
Yes.
I would say it's definitely, unless it really takes a dive in the finale for some reason, I would definitely rank it above Luke Cage. So
Yes.
I don't
Wow,
know
really?
I don't know what the big deal is. Why everyone thought it was like utter trash when it came out.
Right?
Huh.
I
So,
think a lot of it had to do with the whole racial stigma and people claiming that the show was whitewashing something that was already white, but that's a whole other argument for another time.
yeah. I mean, my only complaint is that some of the rom-com aspects of it are very prevalent between him and his romantic interest, and I just want to take them and be like, if you guys would just like talk to each other, like people would be dying right now.
Right?
Yeah.
So-
The whole thing feels a little, I don't know, I don't want to say childish, but I don't know, I feel like he isn't working through it like would make any sense that most people would work through things. And
Yeah.
maybe I'm missing something, but
Well, I think that's an interesting choice that the writers make that I kind of disagree with. That because he was, like taken by these monks as a child, he never really emotionally progressed much beyond that of a child. Which I think is what they were trying to imply, but they didn't really do it that well because, like, you'd think that as a monk, in training in martial arts, he would be more mature than most people, and
right.
not less mature. But I don't know. Yeah, there's a lot of that kind of stuff that really bothers me, but a lot of the stuff with the hand and like Madame Gao and things like that, I've found very, very interesting.
Yeah, and like again, not to just dump on Luke Cage, but like, what were they trying to do all season?
I don't know.
Like, it's just, especially the second half. The first half was intriguing and had a really good villain, and then just they don't know what to do with that villain, and then the second half just kind of like barfs all over your screen. And
yeah, I think I just breached into the second half like today.
Oh man, I don't envy you.
Yeah, because I told Ted the other day we were talking that the Defenders was coming out because he and his wife just like stumbled onto not Luke Cage, Iron Fist on Netflix.
Yep.
I was like, oh, are you gonna watch the Defenders? He's like, oh, I don't know. I was like, but there's all these other shows. Have you watched any of those? He's like, oh no. I was like, what?
Yeah, I'm a little behind. Well, we actually did start Jessica Jones, but it turned out that like it was a little bit too close to home for us. Like we both know someone who like acts exactly like and looks exactly like Jessica Jones.
Oh yeah.
And so it was so weird. I mean, she's not super powered, but like it's so weird.
Oh, I got sad.
Dang it.
Right? Yeah, it was just so weird, and it was a little bit too close to home, and so we couldn't continue with that one. But we're now doing the other 3.
Jessica Jones, I've said it before. It's really, really, really good. My only problem is that it spins its wheels in the middle. It would have done a lot better to have been in like an 8-episode season versus a 13-episode season.
I agree completely.
Both Daredevil seasons are great, though.
It is really good and very cerebral. But if you'd rather watch like a YouTube summation and then like watch the finale, I think that would be probably good.
I might do that.
All right, so go ahead, Trent.
Let's see. I'll just a lot of my reality shows: American Ninja Warrior, Big Brother, The Challenge. And then last week, Teen Wolf started up, which I'm very excited about. It's one of my guilty pleasure shows. The pilot did not disappoint. It's going to be an interesting final season. There's a lot of stuff that they've teased already that I'm like, how are they going to do all of this? in like 10 episodes, but we'll see. I'm
It's a
excited.
10-episode last season.
Yeah, it's technically like a 6B or something like that. They got really into that at some point, and I'm like, why don't you just call it season 7? But whatever.
That way, it's not an anemic season. It's a half season.
Yeah, I don't know. I just because
Marketing.
they've had like 20 episode seasons, and they've had like 13 episode seasons, and they've had 10 episode half seasons, and so they just don't have any idea what they wanted to do with that show. But it's still entertaining.
Oh, good.
So really been enjoying that. And then I've just been keeping up on what was I watching? Crap, I'm drawing a brain fart. But anyway, that's enough. Thank you.
That's enough.
So before we go to the next topic, I'm still on watching stuff. So between the last time I was on here and this time, I finished all of the Sherlock 1, 2, and 3. But I saw today that Netflix added the 4th season, which they don't call seasons, but the 4th season is on Netflix now.
Yes.
It does not come up as new episodes on your tab. It will not say Sherlock new episodes, or at least it did on mine. So you have to actually go in there and find the 4th season.
Huh.
All you listeners, you're welcome.
See, like the books or thing that we were talking about earlier, Sherlock is just one of those shows that I don't want to get caught up in that frustration where like every 2.5 years they decide to release a new like 4-episode season. So it's gonna be one of those that I just binge when it's all done.
Well, based on the episode names, this should be the last 3 episodes, hopefully.
Well, yeah, and I haven't seen the final season yet either. I started watching the first episode of season 4, but I forgot how long they are.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I was like, wow, this is a long time to dedicate to like one episode of
But
something.
it's so good.
I know. I like the Christmas special that they did last year, which I think they have on Netflix is like season 4, episode 0 or something like that. So
I haven't paid attention.
look out for that. But yeah, good stuff.
All right, that was my PSA. We can continue.
All right, well, let's head into the news for the week we're going to get through. Today, we got our first look at Josh Brolin as Cable in Deadpool 2. I almost said Josh Brolin as Deadpool 2, but I didn't. I saved it.
Josh Brolin is Deadpool 2.
So, yeah, I think he looks fantastic. You know?
Yeah, it looks great.
I mean, I'm pretty excited. Apparently, the internet has been ablaze as to what the teddy bear means that's hanging from his belt. Have you guys seen a picture of this?
Yeah, I've seen it, but I don't know.
I didn't notice teddy bear.
So he's like, so Cable is like this, Banff, futuristic fighter dude. He's got
He looks,
huge,
yeah.
huge gun. He's jacked. He's got all these like knives and grenade things. He has like mechanical arm.
He's the son of Cyclops and Jean Grey.
Right. And he's got a teddy bear hanging from his belt. And I'm like, what the hell is that about?
I'm sure they will do something with it in the movie. So your question will be answered, I'm sure.
It's true. Do you guys want to know the prevalent theory online?
Sure.
Go ahead.
So apparently there is a storyline to do with, I believe, of course now I'm going to mess it up because I have a terrible memory. There's a storyline to do with someone called Hope Summers. And I'm guessing with the name that it's either like the daughter or the granddaughter of Jean and Cyclops. And
So his sister or his daughter?
Right.
Maybe Jean had a daughter with a different guy.
But Summers is Cyclops' last name, isn't it?
Ah, you're right. Scott Summers. Duh.
Well, it says that she's born with the last name of Spalding. So maybe Scott adopts her? Question mark.
We're such good nerds, you guys.
We're so
We
good nerds.
know everything.
Okay, yeah. Scott Summers is her adoptive paternal grandfather.
There you go.
So-
Thanks, Google.
There we go. Show. Nathan Summers is the adoptive father. That's interesting. Anyway, so people are thinking that there's a famous storyline to do with her and like her being taken by these people or like going missing or something, and so people are thinking that the teddy bear signifies that like Cable is looking for her, and like that's her teddy bear.
Makes sense.
So that's what people are thinking. Oh, Cable's name is Nathan Summers. I'm an idiot.
Oh, we're the best nerds.
We're the worst nerds ever. I've never really been a Cable fan, to be honest, even though X-Men is one of my favorite genres. But anyway, so that's that.
That is that.
What else do we not know much about?
Well, something we do know is Michelle Pfeiffer is going to be Janet Van Dyne in Ant-Man and the Wasp.
I'm actually pretty excited for this.
Me too. I love Michelle Pfeiffer.
I've loved just about everything I've ever seen her in, all the way back to Catwoman, and then flash forward to the Evil Witch in Stardust. I think she is a phenomenal actress, and I hope that they get to do a lot with her. You guys have both seen Ant-Man, right?
Yes.
I actually haven't. And that's Paul Rudd, right?
Yes. Who is from Kansas City, by the way.
No kidding.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if I want to.
I mean, I know the basics of Ant-Man, like I know his abilities and that sort of thing. So, and I know the Wasp in general. So you don't really have to review it for me. But I'm interested that Paul Rudd is being matched with Michelle Pfeiffer. I think that'll be a very odd coupling.
Well, so she's actually the original Wasp, and is going to be more paired with Michael Douglas.
Like Michael Douglas was the original Ant-Man, and Michelle Pfeiffer is the original The Wasp versus Paul Rudd and Lost Chick. I can't remember her name right now.
Lost Chick. That's great. It's okay. I can't remember.
We know stuff.
I would have to say it's like Kara something.
Well, at least no one else knows.
That's right.
Best nerds.
Best nerds ever. So, anywho, I think Michelle Pfeiffer is a phenomenal actress. I'm excited to see what she does with the role, what she do. So yeah, that's that. What else do we got?
Evangeline Lilly is her name.
Evangeline?
Evangeline.
Is there an L in it?
Evangeline. So
Evangeline.
Evangeline. Yes,
Yeah.
that.
Nice.
That's her name. We know stuff.
We have Google too.
All right. Well, speaking of Marvel and stuff we don't know, we have no idea who's going to be in the Guardians of the Galaxy after Volume 3. Because it was announced this week that Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 will mark the end of the current character lineup. What does that mean to you all, and how do you feel about that?
I feel very sad.
I really like the characters they have at the moment and how they're playing them. But I mean, at some point, you can't run it on forever. So having a plan is better than not.
I don't know. Tell that to Tony Stark.
Oh, God. Fair point.
Well, we're pretty sure he's going to be done after Avengers 4, so...
Is he not getting an Iron Man 4 at all?
Yeah, they're being coy about it. So, like, their contracts are all up after Avengers 4, so I'm pretty sure Downey Jr. and Chris Evans are going to be benched. If not dead.
Blech.
Character-wise, not actor-wise.
I mean, that's dedication. That's like Heath Ledger dedication.
Oh, still too soon. Forever too soon.
But yeah, I don't know how I feel about the Guardians of the Galaxy because the Avengers, it always kind of has been a rotating team, and I guess in truth the Guardians have too. But I think the Avengers was just cool because it was a team up of all-star superheroes. But the Guardians of the Galaxy, we've kind of just loved for the a-holes that they are.
They're kind of like the random misfits.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when it says the end of the current lineup, does that necessarily mean that all of them will be gone, or just the current lineup as we know it?
I'm sure that Rocket and Groot will stick around for the foreseeable future since they're the most marketable and they could change actors and no one would notice, really. So
yeah, I think that's likely what they would do. Not to mention, they don't even really need to re-record any of Groot's lines ever again.
Yeah, right.
Just keep using that one.
I mean, he did do them all in different languages already too. So I mean,
Yo soy Groot.
you guys haven't seen that? I saw a
No.
little documentary of him like on his like, have you guys seen those like stilts you strap onto your feet? They're like little springy stilts. Anyway, he was in some stilts and he was, channeling Groot, but then speaking them in all different languages. Yeah.
That's pretty great.
So yeah, we'll see what happens.
Cool. A lot of people are thinking that the Sylvester Stallone team hint at the end of Volume 2 is likely to at least give some of the members for the new team.
Yeah, I mean, it's Sylvester Stallone. They have other, good actors like Michael Rosenbaum in there, was the Crystal Lee guy.
Yeah.
So could happen.
I could see that being a whole separate team. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Sweet.
All right, so kind of a side note here. It was posted on Reddit this week, and I kind of fell in love with it a little bit. But there are very, very few Blockbuster videos still open. But one of the ones they're still open has a Twitter account called The Last Blockbuster. And their tweets are really freaking funny. Like this one here. Asking us why we don't have Blu-rays is like asking a homeless person why they don't have a MacBook Pro.
They're really active too, aren't they?
Oh yeah, totally.
It looks like they tweet at least once a day.
I mean, not the store, the Twitter account.
Yeah. We're watching Titanic and the boob part starts in like 15 minutes if you guys want to get down here. In light of recent news, we're offering 20% off of any movie where an American guy punches a Russian guy. For the last time, our movies are organized alphabetically by year of release. It's not rocket science, folks. So
yeah, there's a lot of really good tweets in here.
Lots of good stuff. So I definitely recommend checking that out. Oh, I miss Blockbuster, kind of. I never would go back and rent stuff now, but man, nostalgia in me would go into Blockbuster and renting a movie or game as a kid. So awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I've got good memories from going there and like finding exciting movies that I feel like I came across more random movies and video games then than I do now.
Yeah, totally.
Because I don't ever go to a store anymore and just browse like their movie selection, because that's not a thing you do anymore.
True.
And so like unless you've heard of a movie or literally just go to like your Google Play store and just start browsing, and even then it's like algorithm, like they're trying to push things on you they think that you'll like. You don't really get that experience anymore of just thumbing through like a collection of actual movies. So it makes me sad.
There was a period in my life where only for 1 year I lived within like a 7-minute bike ride from a Blockbuster, and my allowance at the time was $7 a week.
Uh-huh.
And so like I would rent like a new video game like every week from Blockbuster. It was pure heaven for I was 12 at the time. So yeah, played a lot of good N64 games.
I went to Blockbuster maybe a dozen times.
You youngin'.
Yeah, it's a regular thing that like, I mean, we would go hang out there as like middle schoolers and stuff because it was close enough that like Ryan was saying, ride our bikes. And so you'd go there and just hang out and look at movies and talk about movies you'd want to buy. And we remember like thinking that adults were so cool because they get to have a Blockbuster card, and like I couldn't wait to get a Blockbuster card. And I never got
it's true.
I had never got a Blockbuster card.
You never did?
No, I was so sad now that I'm thinking about it.
I still have mine. And my Hollywood Video one.
Should I get you one for your birthday?
I think I might have gotten a Hollywood Video card. I'm sure I threw it away at some point.
I'm sure.
Hollywood Video just wasn't the same.
Yeah. Not quite. We're on it today.
Anyway, we're just showcasing what we don't know and then getting nostalgic about Blockbuster. Welcome to the Brief Nerdity podcast, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, Forces of Destiny have released a bunch of shorts the past few weeks. The latest one, I believe, is featuring Ahsoka.
Yeah, did you watch it?
Yep, I've watched them all. Have you?
I've watched the Ahsoka one and the Rey one.
There's 3 Rey ones.
Oh, I don't know, the first one.
Yeah. And Leia.
I just briefly got through the Ahsoka one today, so I'm a little bit behind.
Well, they just launched the Ahsoka one today, didn't they?
Today, just only? Oh, maybe.
Well, the Facebook page launched it while I was at work.
Oh.
So if it was just a repost of something they'd already done, then I'd missed it. But anyway, I thought one of the comments was really funny. Some guy was complaining about their feminazi agenda. And I'm like, wait, why? Just because Ahsoka is the main character of the short? Like, death to feminazis. You can't have female lead characters. What is this about?
So yeah, this Ahsoka one was released a few weeks ago.
Oh, well, look at
That's
me.
okay.
Well, if anything, I am not caught up on Star Wars stuff. We know that to be true. So
Yep. But yeah, I think they're good. I think the Ahsoka one was fine. I think the Rey ones were a little unnecessary, I guess, because like I don't need to know if I'm like she goes on this grand adventure between grabbing BB-8 and then trying to sell them to Unkar Plutt. And so I don't know. They're fine. I don't really think they're needed. Or super interesting.
I think they're just like a kids cartoon thing that kids can log in and watch them,
which is 100% fine. So the hardcore Star Wars audience isn't the audience for Phase, right. And that's fine. So hope kids enjoy it and watch more Star Wars.
Exactly. Although I will comment, the only thing is I don't know who the artist was that they hired, but he cannot draw Anakin.
Right?
He looked nothing like him. The movie version, the Clone Wars version, any version. He looked weird. And Ahsoka looked perfect. Looked just like her. And I was like, what the heck is this all about? Did they just phone it in and be like, oh, right, Anakin, guy with blondish hair.
At least I got the voice
actor. So, anywho, those are fun and interesting. I'm excited to, if they're going to announce, like, when do you think they're going to announce their new animated thing?
They'll probably wait till after season 4 of Rebels, or at least close to the end, because they don't really probably want the marketing for the new one to interfere with the marketing of season 4 of Rebels. But that would be my guess.
I hope they tease something, like, at least during the season at some point.
Yeah.
Like, lay some Easter eggs or some hints or something.
I need a Netflix Star Wars show, please.
Yes, please.
I need it. I need it to live.
Yeah. There's always that, like, April Fool's Day post that goes around that shows, like, that homemade one. And every time I fall for it.
Yeah.
I was like, no. Why?
Well, give us a movie a year, but not a freaking Netflix series.
I don't understand why not. Like, they can obviously look at things like, House of Cards and Orange is the New Black and, Stranger Things and Marvel. And it's like, you own Marvel and they're having this wonderful thing on Netflix. Why not Star Wars?
I'm sure it will happen. It's just a matter of when. Hopefully sooner than later.
I just want it to be before all the movies die out.
They're never going to die out.
The current trilogy, anyway.
Oh, yeah, that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Not
Are you excited about the new Star Wars stuff, Ted?
I haven't. I'm excited for the movie to come out in December, but I'm not really keeping up to date. And it'd be great to have a Netflix show, but I mean, they got to keep that universe real tight, They can't go lollygagging about since they cut out like basically all of it.
But they have an entire story team. That is their entire purpose.
Oh, yeah. Story team can only do one thing at a time. Okay, you have 15 people, only one thing at a time.
So we can have a new movie every year, new animated series.
See if I can whip Trent up into a frenzy.
3 to 4 books a year, and like God knows how many comics. But no, we can't have a damn TV show.
Trent, mad.
I just don't understand. It's like, I want you to take my money in the form of my Netflix subscription. Heck, I would subscribe to a Disney-only subscription thing if it meant watching a Star Wars TV show of that quality.
Yep.
Like, take my $10 a month. I don't even care.
Yep.
Anyway, I mean, I'm subscribing to HBO now, literally just for Game of Thrones.
Ditto.
I don't watch anything else. I should to get my money's worth, but I don't. So
Well, Guild Wars 2 announced an expansion today. Trent, why don't you talk about that for a while?
yeah, this actually was a week ago, on
Ooh.
August
Best
1st.
nerds.
Well, about as recent as the Ahsoka cartoon. So
Right, it's been since our last show, and I am very excited about it. Even though I'm kind of a casual Guild Wars 2 player. So it's the game's second expansion. It's called Path of Fire. For those of you who play the game, or might be interested in the story somewhat, the big bad of the last expansion, one of the Elder Dragons, was destroyed. Their magic got released kind of dangerously into the world. And one of the human gods named Balthazar, who's the god of like fire and war, I think, has come back and is like declared war on the mortal world. And everyone's like, why are our gods trying to kill us? And so we're going to this new place that was from one of the old games, and so they're bringing it back, and everyone's really excited. And some of the new classes or class specializations look really cool, so I'm excited.
nice. I'm excited for you. Never got into Guild Wars.
Yeah.
I got into Guild Wars 1 and Factions. Never actually picked up Guild Wars 2 because by then I was getting into college, and so I got distracted. But it was excellent.
How much did you play the first one?
It was ages ago. I'm sorry.
But did you play a lot of it?
I played some. I mean, my friends were the ones playing it, so when they were on, I hopped on.
Nice.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
does like the Crystal Desert mean anything to you?
No, I'm sorry. Best nerds over here. I'm sorry.
You don't have to apologize to me. It's just it's the new zone that one of the new zones that we're going to that apparently was a big place in the first game.
I see.
So yeah. So that's I think that's all the news we got.
We got one more thing. Probably our most controversial topic, I would say. Maybe you guys don't care, but I'm kind of using it as a springboard into a bigger topic. So it might last for a while, might not. Who knows? But this week, the Middle-earth: Shadow of War had an announcement. For those of you know, I was a big fan of the first game. It was an open world game, but the gameplay was so well done. They basically took the Batman Arkham gameplay, but put it in an M-rated Lord of the Rings setting, in a kind of open worldish type setting. And they had what was called the Nemesis system, to where you would kill orcs, but then they would be revived. Some of them, like the leaders, would be revived, and they would like seek you out, like come and try to kill you. And it had a very unique system to where certain orcs were afraid of some things or strong against this type of attack and weak against this kind of attack, but not really in like a Pokemon water beats fire sense, but in like how you draw your attacks, so to speak. And so sometimes you would kill your nemesises over and over again, but then they'd become immune to the way you killed them before. And so they would be significantly harder to fight and just be getting stronger. And so talking a little bit too much about it, but it was a great game, and I was very, very, very looking forward to the second one. Comes out next month, I believe, maybe October. I think it got pushed back actually, but they just announced that it's going to have a loot box system for a single player only game, to where you could grind for this in-game currency that you could buy also with real money and get in-game loot packs for the game, which also means the game has to be online only for single player, which is only single player.
Why?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
That sounds really stupid.
So people are mad at WB for shoehorning this into what was probably going to be a great game, and probably still is, except for this. But
wow.
So it kind of brought me to just a greater subject about loot boxes as a whole, and how I feel they're kind of becoming too predominant in video games. I'm okay with them to some extent. Probably the extent that I'm most okay with them is a Mass Effect or a Titanfall kind of way for it, to where, that's at least for Mass Effect 3, where all the maps and the DLC is free because they have a loot box system. And especially like in Titanfall, the loot box system is purely cosmetic. So people who want to pay for those extra cosmetics can, and then in doing so, it makes it so all the future content is free. Because as we saw with Battlefront, it's no fun when there's a season pass or $15 DLC packs that split the audience and make it so you can't find anybody to play with. But then even so, a multiplayer having pay to win scenarios is never want either. So to me, that's the only time they're generally acceptable. But to have them in a single player game, like, what do you guys
particularly think? When that is the reason that it's online, like it requires the online.
Yeah.
Maybe if there was some other aspect that made it so that the forced online aspect of it, like, made it worth it, and then the loot boxes were added on, like, oh, okay, I guess. But I mean, making it so that their monetization forces the single player game to be online only really is just turning the knife.
Trent?
See, I mean, I've never really cared about the online only thing personally, unless the servers are crashing all the time, like when the new SimCity game came out.
Yeah.
But I just don't understand the mentality of it. Like, loot boxes exist so that content can be, like you were talking about, free because it's being supported by, this microtransaction system. You see similar things in Guild Wars 2, League of Legends, Overwatch. Like, I mean, it's very common. But I don't understand what the point of it is in a single player game other than just a money grab. Like, what are you supporting? Are they going to give free DLC through this?
They have said nothing. And the first game was notorious for having $55 worth of single player DLC that was ultimately very meh in the long run. I never played it myself, but...
So, like, if they're doing this and then they're going to give free, like, story DLC content, great. Awesome. If it works and people pay for it and allows the players, to have a really great $60 game, awesome. But, like, what is it supporting? Like, people only put up with microtransactions because it allows them to play their game for free.
Yep, but no, people will be dropping $60 for this game and then being like, oh, do you want to get this really good axe or whatever? It costs 60 Smeagol coins. And so, oh, look, you didn't get a gold drop on that one. You only got this bronze axe. Dang. Do you want to spend real money? You could buy a pack of 100 Smeagol coins for $100.
Oh, God. And then the loot boxes are actually, like, in-game content, not, like, cosmetic stuff, too.
Yeah.
They're, like, card packs in Hearthstone, so you actually, like, need them.
I don't know if you need them, but I'm sure it gives you, like, better weapons, better armor, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, unless I'm completely missing something, and this is a pretty decently long post that I should. So one of the things in the post that I brought up says, "Does gold give me an advantage in the game?" It says, "No, gold does not give you any advantage over other players. A player who invests enough time can progress the same amount and have access to the same content as a player who purchases gold."
So it does give them an advantage, just
right. It gives you an advantage of time.
Yeah.
Over money. Yeah. This just bothers me on a design standpoint. Because there's no benefit to the player from this.
No.
Especially to the player who doesn't want to spend that much extra money. Like, if the game was significantly cheaper, or, like I said, free DLC that they haven't announced yet, like, those two things I think would make this okay. But without that, it was really bad.
I think it's indicative of a greater problem that we're moving towards. I wouldn't say we're quite there yet, but we're moving towards. And as much, and I don't hate me, but as much as I enjoy the gameplay of Fortnite and the clever llamas and stuff like that, I kind of feel it's a little bit sensory overload when you unload them all. And it's like, you get all this stuff, and I'm like, I don't know what any of this is. And
oh yeah, no, I agree with that.
And is Fortnite going to be free to play when it officially comes out? Do we know?
Yes, we basically paid for early access.
Okay, so I guess that's just kind of my fault for not knowing that. So, because I was thinking, like, yeah, I paid $40 for this game, and it feels like a free to play game. So,
but I mean, the bonus is that you got your money's worth of the in-game currency in terms of like auto packs and founders
Yeah.
items and stuff like
Of
that.
course.
So I mean, you will have that much money's worth of money in addition to the progress you've gained from early access,
Yeah.
on top of anybody who begins when the game officially comes out for free.
So again, as much as I love the game and I'm okay with that, the fact I spent that, I can't help but think when I play Fortnite, when, for example, if you started a new level and you started with enough ammo to fight what you needed for, or at least you started with zero everything and the world had enough stuff around it for you to build and gather up your resources and a finite amount of it that you could use to fight off the zombie horde, kind of like a RTS. You know, you start off with basically nothing, you know, a base, a little bit of resources, a couple of workers, and you're like, okay, I'm going to go get some stuff over here, get some stuff over here. Oh, the battle's coming in. You know what I'm talking about? Because I feel like an anxiety that I need to prepare all the time in Fortnite, either by getting good stuff through loot boxes or making sure I have 999 of all the resources at all times in case I ever like need a bunch of them all at one time. And then I'm like, oh, I'm out of ammo. Oh, I don't have any gears or whatever the parts are for that. So like I gotta go find something. Like I don't know. I still thoroughly enjoy Fortnite. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like for my taste anyway, the game would be better if all that wasn't a thing, so to speak.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it as much because like part of the draw of the game is that it's kind of like a survival-ish, but like cartoony survival exploration game.
Yeah.
You go around and you like break down walls and can search houses and stuff like that. So it's very much like 7 Days to Die or Ark, but more fun and limited in scope.
Yeah, which I like.
Right. So I don't know. I still don't mind it in like multiplayer free to play games. I think that was a good move by the industry. I think it allows for games to exist without like requiring monthly subscriptions or money up front.
Yeah, it's true.
Sure, but I mean, Overwatch took this route, right? You have to buy Overwatch, and then there's loot boxes as well. Granted, the loot boxes are cosmetic only,
Right.
but so Blizzard kind of blazes the way for this. So then, where's the line?
Well, but I mean, I still feel like this is way different than what Overwatch does. Like, I mean, sure, you bought Overwatch, but you get every character, period. Every new character, every new map that comes out, you get it automatically, no questions asked, because you bought the game, and the rest of it is all subsidized by this cosmetic loot box system.
Yep, fair.
Which I agree is perfectly fine.
And Blizzard said that like that the reason they did that is because they wanted they didn't want a system where like new champions would come out and people wouldn't have access to them. And that's where you see in League of Legends is that there's probably 30 champions that I don't own because I don't play enough to have that much IP, and I'm not going to spend money on it.
Fair. And so what we're saying is that Middle Earth is crossing the line because it's basically like a phone game that I also paid $60 for.
Yeah, exactly. It would be like because Guild Wars 2 actually has a similar thing where they have an in-game store for like cosmetic stuff and skins and mount like gliders, and have mounts quite yet. They're about to, but and that allows but they also have you buy the game up front, and then microtransactions supports new stuff, but they also have new content like every other month. Like the thing that's missing from this Shadow of Mordor or Shadow of War or whatever it's called is that there's no guarantee of new content for this money that you're paying.
Yep.
So they're enticing you with these loot boxes, and you're subsidizing what?
And this is purely speculation, but I would bet a lot of money that they make grinding for it, not extremely difficult, but extremely time consuming.
Right.
There's a balance there where they have to make it, just enough to where you can earn something every now and then, but just not enough to where it will make someone want to pay for it. And so there'll always be that slight frustration in the back of your mind that you can't get something that you want because of that.
Yeah. I mean, imagine if something like this existed in like Fallout 4 or Skyrim or something like that. That would drive me crazy.
Yep.
And it would also like it how is this going to affect the modding community? Are you going to be able to mod this game at all?
People were talking about that as well. They're like, well, if I modify my save file to, get myself, just basically mod the game, yeah, will I be banned?
Smeagol coins.
Yeah. So
because I'm certain that they wouldn't let you connect to the store, but would you still even be able to play? Like that?
No idea. My guess would be no, though.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this is a bad decision unless they come out and can give some kind of very substantial, like, you are subsidizing this with this money. Because right now it just looks like, a development company trying to make up costs for a AAA game. Did they just not expect it to sell well enough, or?
No, WB has been notorious for some pretty crappy business practices lately, the past few years. So,
what else would I know them from? And do they have like a parent company that I would know?
They are the parent company, but like the Mortal Kombat stuff is the Mortal Kombat, and Injustice stuff was them.
Yeah.
The latest Batman Arkham game, Arkham Knight, was them.
Oh, yeah, thanks for that PC port, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is really, really putting a really negative taste in my mouth for this company in general.
Yep, which makes me sad because it was. I mean, again, I can't express how great the first game is, and I imagine the second one is going to be just as great too. Like, not to, again, kind of put words out there. Well, not put words out there, but project out there. Like, I bet you it wasn't the developer that was like, "Let's do this."
No.
So I'm sure they made a great game, but it was their publisher, WB, the owner of the Lord of the Rings license, that was just like, "Yeah, let's do this and put this in there, loot boxes." So. Pure conjecture, but
I can just imagine the board meeting and we're like, what's really big right now? Loot boxes. How can we get these loot box things in our game?
Loot box is so hot right now.
So yeah, it's a sad day for Shadow of War. We'll have to see. It's now off my radar for a day one release. Maybe I'll pick it up on sale depending on how reviews go at this point. But
yeah, I'm actually feeling the same way. I was thinking about picking it up day one, and this really makes me want to wait and see what happens.
Yep. All right. Well, that about does it for the news. So we're going to move on to our Game of Thrones Season 7, Episode 4 spoiler cast. Ted, are you sure you'd like to stay with us? We will be going into full spoilers.
I am totally okay with going into full spoilers.
Totally okay with that. Okay. Well, Trent, why don't you talk about our social media, and then we'll get right into it.
Right. Anybody hopping off now, feel free, or please come hang out with us on our Facebook. Send us a message on Twitter. Send us an email, briefnerdity@gmail.com. We would love to hear from our listeners, see the topics you are interested in, what you'd like us to cover, talk about. If you have any opposing viewpoints you want us to debate, all that sounds like fun. So stop on by, go to our iTunes, give us a rating and a review. And other than that, we will see you next week.
Have a good one. And now we start the spoilers. So first off, Trent, I want to apologize to you. You're squeeing at me and trying to talk to me about the episode last night on chat, but I was literally in the middle of watching Rick and Morty at the time, so I was kind of engaged with that. So
I was just freaking out and watching the battle scene for like the third time in a row.
I need to go back and watch it again. It's something I thought about doing, but I need to. So dude, Ted, for you, do you know what happened last night?
That dragon.
Yeah.
That dragon. Holy crap. So the reason I'm selfishly excited about that dragon, not necessarily because it's great to the story, which it is. Lovely to the story. Awesome, whatever. The real reason I care about the dragon is that it looks awesome.
Yep.
It looks phenomenal. And so that gives me great hope for other dragon movies, coming out with Dragon Riders of Pern, or all my other sci-fi fantasy books that I like that have dragons in them that I was like, they're never going to make that because all dragons that I've seen in movies suck, other than Smaug, who was the first one to actually be like, that's a good dragon. This is another excellent dragon. So I'm really excited about that.
Yep. So not only was the fight just super amazingly well done in every way. I mean, it was a culmination of stuff that people have been waiting for since 1996 when the first book came out. It was Jaime leading an army of Lannisters against against Daenerys and Drogon and an army of Dothraki.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's literally they've been setting this up for 7 freaking years. Not to mention how long since the books came out.
yeah, 1996 was when the first one came out.
Should we bury the lead a little bit and talk about the other scenes before we
Nah, let's just talk about the battle first.
We're just gonna
we're on it. Let's get it out of the way. We love this. So
all right, we're gonna leave the cigarette for the other conversations afterwards.
yep.
Oh man.
So one thing that stood out to me is that like the whole time I'm just like, no, Bronn, don't die. No, Drogon, no. Like,
Right?
Oh, Jamie, Daenerys, no. The whole time.
This might be one of the only and first shows where you've got main characters on 2 different sides of the battle, and you don't want any of them to die.
Yep.
You're like, wait, you're not a bad guy, but you're not a bad guy, but you're kind of the bad guy, and like you're also kind of the bad guy. Like, what's going on?
Yeah, like I was at the edge of my seat when Bronn was aiming the ballista at Drogon. I'm just like, I don't know what I want.
Right, and after like their history with the direwolves, I was like, no, don't kill the dragon.
Yep.
Like, oh, I was so worried the whole time. I was like, no, don't do it.
Nobody did actually die in that scene, correct?
Well,
none of those main characters. Obviously,
none of the
many
main
mooks died, but no actual main characters.
No main
Okay.
characters.
Other than the fact that Jamie fell into water in full plate or chainmail, minor point, he'll swim. Right, that's how it works. Yeah.
Well, that's an interesting point. Is that like that final scene looked pretty final. So either he's gonna get fished out by the dragon, or Bronn's gonna somehow save him. I mean, he's not just gonna one hand take off his armor and swim out of that lake.
He's just gonna push off the bottom. It's fine.
Either way, I think he'll be
Right.
okay. Whether or not he's going to be a prisoner of Daenerys or if she flies off right after that and then Bronn, gets him to the top and they watch as the dragon flies away. I'm not sure. But either way, I'm pretty sure Jaime's okay because, again, like the most prevalent theory with Jaime is that he's going to be the one to kill Cersei in the end. So,
Though,
he has
if it was Martin in charge, he would definitely drown right there.
Oh yeah. So okay, interesting tactical point that I've got. So it's very cinematic and everything, obviously, for Drogon to come charging the front line. Wouldn't it have made more strategic sense for her to come from the side and like strafe the line instead of cutting like a tiny little hole in it?
Oh yeah, totally.
Okay.
I mean, maybe. The only reason I'm disagreeing is the fear and psychological factor.
That's true. I mean, yeah, the dragon flying straight at you was. I mean, I was terrified. I was sitting here in my room, like, it was good. But then after that, isn't one of her problems right now is that like her people are cut off and she needs supplies?
Yep.
So why did she go and torch literally like every wagon train full of grain?
Yeah, no idea what
Worth
that.
it.
Shouldn't the Dothraki have taken those?
Yeah, you would think, but
I mean, it made
She was
for
just
really,
making popcorn.
really, really cool explosions. Don't get me wrong.
yeah.
But
I love also how just the blue balls of the whole situation was to the max because like you hear the rumbling and then like Jaime's telling everybody to get ready and then just like shows that hill probably like 5 times with nothing coming over it. You just hear it getting louder and louder and louder, and then you see the Dothraki and then Drogon emerges from the cloud. You're just like, oh my god.
right. Well, not only that. So like the scene transitions with Theon landing on the beach and like I come to talk to the queen and the queen's not here. Like where is she? And they pan to the Lannister army. It's like oh
crap.
no, something's gonna happen. And then so you see the Dothraki start to charge, and Bronn tells Jaime that he should run. And Jaime was like, "No, I'm not gonna flee. Whatever." He's like, and Bronn's like, "Don't be an idiot. Like these guys are gonna swamp us." And he's like, "We can hold them off." And then like Drogon's cry comes out over. I was like, "Oh, nope." You are so screwed.
Yep.
How surprised were you that this new ballista thing that we saw just like a week or two ago is already like built, in play, deployed, and in a random like supply train?
I don't think it's that far from believability. She had it. We had that scene with her and Qyburn before Jaime left to Highgarden. So we would assume, be like, hey, let's just take one with us, just in case.
Why would it be with the food, not with the gold?
Maybe they had one with both.
Maybe.
I imagine it wasn't super difficult to build, a good few dozen of them.
Yeah,
I mean, since they have catapults and that kind of siege weaponry, right? So going from a catapult to a ballista, I mean, it takes a leap, but not like you're having to gather new materials or, try to figure out where the hell rubber is or things like that.
True.
And it's hard to kind of see with the show, but I bet you there's like several days and weeks that go between some scenes,
Oh, I mean, there have to be.
to count for travel time and stuff.
Yeah,
So.
for Arya to show up at Winterfell and stuff, the time definitely had to have passed.
Yeah.
But okay, I wasn't like I didn't think about any of this stuff until way after the scene was done. So don't get the wrong impression that I was like being pulled out of the scene by any of this, because it was incredible. I think
yeah, definitely. When you first saw that dragon, you're like, no, flank. What are you doing?
I think what I did was like raise my hands in the air and went yes.
Much more like your kind of reaction.
That's pretty much my exact reaction.
Yep.
I mean, all she had to do was say Dracarys, and I was done. Like I was a puddle on the floor. It was over.
Just it was so well done. Just every aspect of it was very well done. By far, like one of the best medieval battle scenes ever put to film.
Yeah, when watching it again, there's this long single shot of Bronn running through like the fiery like rampage, and he's like running into people and like pulling swords out of people and like shoving the burning people aside. And there's this one point where he like kind of falls to one knee, and then the camera kind of pans up and Drogon flies over, and then he gets back up and keeps running. And I'm like, oh my god, that is so amazing.
Such a beautiful shot.
It's some of the best cinematography I have ever seen, TV or movie, period.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Also,
there are medieval movies that were like made that this makes look pathetic.
Yep. I love the moment, before the battle where he's all talking to Jaime and Jaime's paying him and he's wanting more, so to speak. But then they have that character moment where he drops his gold and he just leaves it. He's like, nope, I'm not going to be that trope in a movie to like go for my gold and then get burned up by a dragon, Well,
that was an interesting character arc, all in the event of one scene where he's complaining about not having his castle yet, and then going to like, risking his life to take down the dragon. Like it's pretty cool. I think it shows a lot of growth for him.
Bronn's the ultimate bro.
I'm still really sad. Like I'm sitting here watching him. I'm like, no, you should be on the hill with Tyrion.
Yep.
What are you doing down there? Like you're with the wrong brother.
Speaking of Tyrion, when he was watching Jaime and he's like, don't do it.
Yeah, he's like, flee, you idiot.
Yeah. Just watching Jaime and you're like, no. But then he does.
I'd be okay if he died at this point, I'll be honest.
No, I love Jaime, so.
I do not.
He has the best redemption arc of the show so far. And it needs to continue. And
I was gonna say,
it's not done yet.
It's not done yet.
He's still supporting his monster of a sister / lover. Like, I don't know if there is redemption for him.
Well, I think it's now turned to the point where he's a good person who happens to unfortunately be in love with an evil person. And so.
Yeah, there's still work to be done.
Yeah. Pretty much everything bad he's ever done since, the show started, even before then, has been like for Cersei because he loves Cersei. And so, but everything else he's done has been good because he's a good person. He killed the Mad King because he was a good person. He saved Brienne because he was a good person,
I liked his stuff with Brienne, but I don't know.
Like he shoved Bran out of a window because,
right?
No, because he was in love with Cersei. So that was,
I guess.
So everything. It's my point that he's a good person who unfortunately is in love with an evil woman, and so, I think that's going to be part of his arc where he has to realize that she is going to be ultimately the one to take her out. He'll be a Queenslayer now.
I don't know.
Does that make him a serial regicider?
Probably.
Boo. I would kind of be okay with that if that's where the story went. There's a long list of other people I would rather kill Cersei.
Maybe
Arya
they'll take the turns for the watch.
for the watch.
For the watch.
Oh man.
Hey, you don't know about that. That was in book 5. You didn't read that book.
Yeah, I didn't read it, but I had it spoiled for me.
Yeah.
All right, so enough of the battle. Let's talk about the other great scenes. I just want to point out that my first thought when John was leading Dany through the cave, that I was like, he totally like drew those on the wall when she wasn't looking, and then brought her. Oh, look at the White Walkers on the wall. Yeah, they work together. Yeah.
You really thought so?
No, I'm just kidding. 100% just kidding. But
It's been all over the internet. I've seen that today from a lot of different people.
it was just a funny thought that entered my mind during the scene. I was like, he totally just ran in there and drew on the walls. But no, obviously, I don't really think that.
Oh man, that's interesting.
But it was a really good scene. I really like the chemistry between those two characters. So
I like the chemistry between those two actors. I don't like the fact that like he's about to bone his aunt.
yeah, but they don't know that, so we can't blame them.
Yeah. Anyway.
Oh, come on. This is Game of Thrones we're talking about. Aunt and nephew relationship is like semi-okay compared to the other incestuous relationships.
That's fair. I just feel like, I don't know. I mean, it's an excuse. It's like, oh, I mean, they don't know. It's like, well, because the writers have chosen for them not to know. Like, and it's one of those like chicken or the egg things. Like, are they this way because that's the way they would naturally have evolved, or are the writers making a weird choice here?
I don't
Are
know.
we this way because we naturally evolved this way? Or did the writers choose us?
Well, I mean, we could be a simulation. You don't know.
Whoa. Okay, I went too far. My bad.
Don't come for me. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. They had great chemistry. I don't want like a Luke and Leia thing where they find out afterwards and like it's like, oh, this is awkward. Like,
Yeah.
Particularly when we know, then it's
Right.
not even like a reveal. Then it's just like, oh, it's
exactly. Like the fact that we know already makes it weird, and like they're trying
Yeah.
to sell it as this like love scene and like, oh. Like,
I don't think it's that heavy-handed though, like a love scene. I think it's a little bit more subtle chemistry, in my opinion.
Nah.
Yeah.
With the firelight and the obsidian and the close shots and them standing right next to each other. I mean, it wasn't not a thing.
I would say it's not a thing. Actually, it was more subtle than
That
other
sounds
love
way
stories.
more subtle than the books. Just saying.
That's fair.
So how about Arya, kicking the crap out of Brienne?
That was great. I love that whole scene. Like Sansa's petty reaction, like
Oh, but Sansa's your favorite. She's the best.
she has good points. You're the one that thinks that she's nothing but a pile of crap.
I don't think she's nothing about a pile of crap. I think she's a victim who thinks she deserves more than she does.
Well, she's been that way since she was a kid. Like, you want to talk about like a good person who has some growth to do. Like, this is an example of that.
Yeah, but you were like arguing in favor of her being the warden of the North, and I was like, biologically,
I
she
still
deserves it.
think she should be. Like, according to the laws of their land, she should be warden of the North.
Yeah, I said biologically she should, but she doesn't
Yeah.
deserve it because of her leadership skills.
I think she proved last week that she does have good leadership skills.
Yeah, but that was after we had our argument, so.
Yeah, anyway, I think we can both agree that neither Arya nor Bran should be in charge of Winterfell.
No, definitely not. Bran is awkward self.
Yeah. I was reading some stuff online today that people were really mad that Arya was able to take Bran on with her tiny like needle sword. I was like, Bran was wielding a wooden practice sword. Like there's a reason that she could do what she was doing. So I thought that was funny.
Yeah. And Arya's used to fighting opponents a lot bigger than her, so she knows how to use that to her advantage.
Yeah. Oh, it was so good. And I think a lot of that was actually Maisie Williams doing that choreography, which was really impressive too.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
I thought that was neat. I loved just their banter between the two of them was great. Who taught you how to do that? No one. Like,
Oh, you.
and I couldn't tell if was that a reference to the House of, is it Black and White?
Yeah.
White and Black?
Yeah.
One of those two. Is that what she's referring to?
Well, and because all of them are no one,
except for her first teacher. What was his name?
She only called him that name because that was the name he gave her while he was on the road when she rescued him. But he was still no one. The waif was still no one.
Oh no. Sirio, her very first
Sirio.
teacher.
Yeah.
But I mean, we don't really get a lot of the other guy teaching her sword combat, did we?
I don't think so, but that's where she learned to become an assassin, so to speak, and get all of her combat skills.
It's true.
Not all, but most, I would say.
Yeah. Did you notice the significance of the dagger? That I watched the thing on IGN and they pointed this out. I didn't notice it. The dagger that Littlefinger gives to Bran, that was the one that was trying to kill him.
Yeah.
That was pictured in the book that Sam was reading 2 weeks ago.
Oh yeah, I noticed that when Sam turned the page.
Oh, so I didn't catch that at first.
Yeah.
I thought that was really interesting.
Yep. It's a common theory right now that Sam is now being punished by having to translate all those scrolls. We're thinking that, or transcribe. I mean, we're thinking that he's going to find something during his transcribing.
That'd be exciting.
Because again, like I said, there's only 9 episodes left of the whole show. So
it's weird.
What are they going to do? They got to do a lot in a little time.
So there's 3 left in this season?
Yep, 3 this season, then 6 next season.
That's crazy. So we know that next week there's going to be a battle with the White Walkers.
Oh, is that one the preview?
Did you not see the preview? I'm sorry.
I did. I know I did. It's just
spoilers during spoiler cast.
I just sometimes I don't trust those in time. Didn't really just like how in the very first episode of the show, it seemed like the White Walkers were at the wall pretty much because just some scouts ran into them.
Oh, that's true.
So it's who knows?
Let's see what else happened this episode. I thought Theon and John's reunion was interesting.
I thought it was appropriate.
I was really surprised at his restraint.
Yeah, ditto. I was like, oh, someone's about to get punched.
Yeah, it's the reason his brother is dead. Yeah, poor Theon. Actually, no, not poor Theon. F Theon, little coward.
See, I'm totally not on his side, but I totally empathize with him. I think there's not a single person who's been punished worse than him in this whole show, and I think he hasn't done nearly as much bad things as other people have. So I feel he's kind of taken his dues.
But he's not growing from it though, and that's the problem that I keep having with him, is that he was a coward before all the bad stuff with being Reek and everything. He's the reason that John died, and arguably the reason that Bran or that Rickon is dead.
Yeah.
And not him and Bran safe in Winterfell.
I see it more as a 2 steps forward, 1 step back kind of situation, because among all of his PTSD or current weakness, he broke through that to save Sansa, and I still don't really blame him for jumping off the ship. He kind of did it in a cowardly way, but and they're kind of treating it, the show is treating him like an uber coward for it, but I don't know what he even could have done in that situation. Euron, who is obviously much better in single combat, has your sister a knife at her throat, and you're sitting there. I don't even think he was armed, was he? I don't think so.
I don't remember.
And so what am I gonna do? Come at you so you could just slit her throat, or kill me? No, live to fight another day, but the show is treating him like this ultra coward for it. It's okay, I'm sure he was partly coward there, but I don't blame him for his decision.
I agree with that part. That doesn't bother me as much, but I don't know. I just would have liked John to punch him in the face, is all I'm saying.
Yeah. And I'm sure his arc is not resolved yet.
Where do you think it's going from here?
I have no idea at this point.
That's the thing. It's like he showed up at Dragonstone. He's got one ship. Like Euron owns the Iron Islands now. Like,
Well,
Daenerys
Euron's
has
definitely
no
the mini boss before the final boss of the. Well, I don't know what's coming first, Cersei or the White Walkers, as far as bosses in the game or the show.
Yeah.
So it's still bouncing back and forth. Is Dany going to go with Jon and fight in the north first, or is Jon going to help Dany in the south first? So, or neither.
Oh, I think they're going to be out of position.
You think what?
They're going to be out of position. So they're going to go south to try attempt to defeat Cersei. Cersei is going to have some trick up her sleeve, like lighting the river on fire. Sure, did that once, so it's not going to happen again. But something like that.
Yeah.
You can catch them totally off guard. They're going to take way longer to siege King's Landing or some ridiculousness. And the White Walkers are going to roll through. And then the Lord of the Light has to come into play somehow in order to make it all, a little bit Deus Ex Machina, but also not.
So how far south do you think the White Walkers will get before they're engaged by the southern armies?
I think they're going to slaughter Winterfell.
Yeah, it's a likely bet. I'm still waiting for the wall to crumble.
Oh, yeah. They're just going to walk through it. I don't think that's what's going to do anything.
Well, so the thing that the vision that they've seen, or where they know they're going is, who saw it in the fire? The Hound.
Yeah.
The Hound saw in the fire that they're going around it. Basically, they're going to one of the keeps that's by the ocean.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think it's a red herring, though. I don't think the show writers will be able to resist the visual, especially like at end of the season, just the wall just crumbling down and then walking through the rubble.
Like, do we know that's going to happen for sure?
Nope, not at all. But also, we really think that the mark on Bran has to have some extra significance because it gave the Night King and the White Walkers the ability to go pass through that magic barrier to get to where the Three-Eyed Raven was. It's been said, especially in the books, so I'm sure in the show as well, that the wall isn't just a wall of ice; it is also guarded by magic, which is one reason why old Brandon Stark wasn't able to pass through Coldfingers. So we think that with Bran now passing through the wall, it has removed that same magic barrier on the wall. So now the White Walkers will be able to pass through. Yep. And I think them going around is a bit anticlimactic.
Super.
I mean, I'm sure them showing up unexpectedly at Winterfell would probably be the best thing they could do with that situation. But I don't think they could resist just having them just steamroll through the wall or the Night's Watch.
Yeah, that's true. I could definitely see like an army of them showing up at that keep that he saw in the vision, and like them being pushed back, and they think that they've won some big victory, and it's all like you said, it's like a decoy or a diversion.
Yep.
Thing. Yeah, so one of the most interesting things for me that they revealed last season was that the Children of the Forest created the White Walkers.
Mm-hmm.
Are they going to do anything with that? Like, are there any Children of the Forest left?
Not that we know of. Last one's died that we know of in the Three-Eyed Raven's cave.
Because, I mean, there's got to be some answer as to how they can be destroyed other than just like Valyrian steel or dragon glass.
I don't think they're going to be destroyed completely, basically because of interviews with George R.R. Martin. He said at some point that he didn't like how he fantasy stories like Lord of the Rings, the ugly orcs and goblins are automatically evil sort of thing. He says everyone is morally gray, or everyone is the hero in their own story. And so there's a big theory that it's just there's going to be peace made between them, and they're going to go back north of the wall. And I could probably get a lot more into that theory, but it's actually quite long. But it's basically that an old Stark, a descendant of the current Starks that we know of, set that peace between them and gave them all the lands above the wall, whereas humans get all the lands below the wall. But the wildlings basically thousands of years later, broke that treaty, so to speak. And so they're coming to war with it.
Huh.
something to that effect. I'm probably butchering it, but there's a big prevalent theory on that. So I'm guessing there's going to be a big twist where the White Walkers aren't just all evil orcs, basically, to where they're just another faction, another house, so to speak, in this battle, and they have their kingdom of north on the wall, and they want the humans out, so to speak.
Yeah, so they're going to get to Winterfell and say, your great grandfather's treaty's been broken, so we're here to pay up and slay Winterfell, and maybe they'll stop.
Yeah.
That's a very interesting theory. I don't know how I feel about it, but it's definitely... I think it'd be most interesting if the humans just lost.
Just straight up went all the way down to the Martells.
Yep.
Nah, I'd be mad about that. I think it'd be gutsy, but
I think all of them deserve it at this point, for the most part.
I'm okay with bittersweet endings, but not all out. Everyone's dead. Endings. Yeah.
Oh, that'd be so good. No one's ever done that before.
Plenty of movies have.
Well, yeah, movies, sure, but not epic TV shows.
Yeah. And I've never liked it when a movie ends where it's all bad like that.
I have sometimes. Anyway.
Well, you're allowed to. I'll allow it.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the main White Walkers have shown intelligence, but like, I don't know. It's interesting. I want to know more about them, and I don't know that we have time in 9 episodes to do everything that needs to be done and find out more about them.
And yeah, maybe my theory will only happen in the books and not the show. So,
well, that's the other thing. Like, George R. R. Martin isn't really in control anymore.
No, he's not in control, but I still believe, because they said that he outlined the rest of the books and the rest of the story and what happens. And I'm sure deviating from the main path, but I think the end goal is going to be 95% the same. The final destination, rather.
Final destination.
Fox only.
No items.
All right. Well, anything else you want to talk about in the episode? I mean, there's a lot, but we're kind of getting.
Can't really think of anything that sticks out. Oh, the one little moment where Bran told Littlefinger like his own line back to him about chaos as a ladder.
Yep.
And just the look on Littlefinger's face. I lived for that moment.
It was a good moment.
It was great.
I really don't know what Littlefinger's plan is at the moment. That makes me nervous.
I don't either. That's the thing. And that's why I liked that one moment from Sansa where she's like, he is a very smart man. He would not have given you that unless there was a reason. Or like, where he's not a generous man or something like that. And that's it. Why would he give him the dagger that he was almost killed with? Especially if one of the main theories is that it was originally Littlefinger's dagger.
Yep.
Now, supposedly in the books, that we know already who tried to kill him.
Well, it is in the books, anyways. It is Littlefinger's dagger. He claims it was Tyrion, but he gave it to the assassin to kill him, just to try to prompt war between the Starks and Lannisters. And he's the one who got Eliza to send the letter, basically saying like it was the Lannisters who did it.
Huh, okay.
So Littlefinger single-handedly started the War of the Five Kings.
It's pretty impressive.
Yep. All right, we should probably wrap it up there. Lots of good stuff. I mean,
definitely.
Geez, it was a good episode.
It's a very good episode.
Very good episode. So, all right, well, we already went through all the social media stuff. So, just hit us up on all of that. But if not, we'll see you next week on another episode. Have a good one, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you.